Hey guys, welcome to Real Leather. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make the leather moccasin kit. This is one of our best sellers. It comes in extra small all the way up to extra large. So let's see how easy it is to make this pre-cut, pre-punched leather kit. Let's take a look at what comes in the kit. We're working with the size large, which is 10 to 11. And on the back here, we have the supply list. So we have our left sole, our right sole. We have our two toe plugs. We have our two cuffs. And then we have our lace. If you flip this down, we now have all the directions on how to sew these lovely moccasins. And the directions are in both Spanish and in English. All right, now that we've gone over everything that's in the kit, we are going to go ahead and stitch up our moccasin. I've already gone ahead and stitched up the first one, so we can use it as a reference point. But first things we're going to do is we're going to put the toe plug in, and we're going to stitch along the edge, pleating the sole leather so it all lines up nice and straight. Then we're going to go ahead and close up the heel, and we'll tie that up so that's straight. And then very last step is we're going to put the collar on the slipper itself so that your foot is not against the raw leather. And that is how we're going to stitch up our moccasin. So let's put the left side aside and start with the right. Now you're going to need your sole plug, and then you're going to need your cuff. You're going to need 2 full laces from the kit. And you will need a half lace. I already used the other half for the left foot, so we have half of it left for the right foot. So to start, we're going to take one of the laces, set these aside, and we're going to set the collar aside because we don't need that right away. And we're going to align the 2 diamond holes on the tongue with, it's easier to see on this side, the 2 diamond holes, or actually they just look more like oval holes on the sole. So you can see here the smaller soles. Bring this up closer, you can see it better. The smaller holes, and then there we go, smaller holes, and then the oval hole, which is technically the diamond. So we're going to go ahead and align those 2. And the first thing we need to do is we need to tie a knot in the lace close to the end, and you may want to do a double knot because it can be small enough to pop through that hole. So I'm going to do it twice just so that knot is nice and chunky, and I will have to repeat it when we end it so that they're even, and you'll understand that when we get there. So there we go, we have our knot tied at the end of the cord. To sew your toe plug to the sole, first things first is we're going to go through the right side of the sole into the oval hole or diamond hole, the matching hole. And then we're going to go through the diamond hole on the toe plug, going from the wrong side of the plug to the right side. Okay, then we're going to take the end of this and we're going to go back through the right side of the sole into the hole we started with, but not through the toe plug, so that this cord is now in between the 2 layers. And then we're going to pull everything nice and snug. And now you have your 2 pieces are attached and we're ready to start sewing. Another tip is if your hands aren't super strong, you can use an awl to help kind of pull the cord tight as you go. So we're going to leave that there just in case we need it. So next, we are going to go through the next hole on the sole from the wrong side to the right side. We're going to pull that through. And we're going to pull, I find if you pull this down, it will pleat the leather for you, because this leather is going to pleat slightly as we go around to gather the leather around the curve of the toe plug. Then we're going to come back up through the right side of the toe plug to the back side of the toe plug, so the cord is once again in between. You want to make sure that you have your pleat of your leather. Hold that pleat in place and then pull this tight. There you go, you have the pleat in the leather and you've done your first 2 stitches. Again, the cord is in the middle of the 2 layers. We're going to go out through the wrong side of the sole to the right side of the sole in the adjacent hole. pull it down to kind of create that pleat. And then you're going to come over the sole to the front of the toe plug and pull the cord out between the two. And that will hold the pleat in place and end the stitch. When you first start, you just have to kind of play with it to get everything lined up. And I'm going to continue this all the way around the toe of the moccasin until all of the holes on the toe plug are done, until we get back around. So there's our first couple of stitches with the pleated leather. I'm going to continue around all the holes until I get back to the diamond and the oval. These two should line up, and then the front of the moccasin will be done. So let me get that stitched up, and then we'll come back to do the next part. All right, so I've done half of it. You can see it's kind of uneven, and my hand strength isn't the greatest to pull this super tight. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little awl, and I'm going to very carefully slide it in between and pull everything tight, starting with the very first stitch. And this will snug everything up and give me a chance to even everything out before I continue with the other half of the slipper. And now you can see I've gathered up a few extra inches of cord, and that looks a lot neater. And if your hands are strong enough just to do this, then you don't need to worry about using an awl to kind of tighten everything up. Okay, so there's one half. I'm going to go ahead and finish the other half, and then we can end it. Now that we have the toe plug in place and it's all stitched and the sides are all pleated, we're back to the very last. I'm going to just pop this out in here so you can kind of see how the sides came up. So now we're back around to the last hole. And so again, we go into the larger oval hole, do the pleat, go through the diamond, position everything the way you want it. And then you're going to go back through the hole. Once you're on the outside, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a knot, just like we did on this side. And remember, I did a double knot, so I'm going to double knot this as well. Make sure you like everything, that it's all smoothed out the way you like it. And then you can just trim these guys. And if you want to, burn the ends, or you can let them fray up like tassels. So there is step one to doing the moccasin. Pretty cool. All right, next up is we're going to do the heel. So now we're ready to size our moccasin. Each moccasin kit is available, and this can be made as a size 10 or a size 11. And we're going to do that here as we build the heel of the moccasin. On the leather back here, we're not going to worry about looking at that right now. We're just looking at these holes right here. There are diamond holes, and then there are circle holes. If you want to make your moccasin smaller, you're going to align the circle holes with each tongue, and that will make it smaller. And you're going to have 4 holes overlapping at the top. Now, if you want to make it larger, then you align just the diamond holes, and that will actually give you 3 holes aligning at the top. So you can decide if you want the larger size or the smaller size. You're going to take the half lace that we cut. We're going to take the half lace that we cut from the other one, and one side has got the nice plastic piece to help you thread it, and the other side does not. You could put a piece of tape around this edge, and then you can use that as a needle. So step one is we're going to create, let me pull this slipper over. The back, we're going to have a straight bar and a straight bar where we tie off. And then on the inside, we're going to have an X. So we're trying to create the X on the inside going through the 2 halves of the heel and then this little tab here. So what we're going to do is we're going to align these the way we want them. And I'm going to go with the larger size. And I'm going to go through the tab on the back. I'm going to go through the first set of holes on both pieces. Now that everything's lined up, I'm going to do the same thing on this side, then go through the diamond on that, and the diamond on that, and then that will create the straight bar on the bottom here, and then we're going to flip this around on the inside, even out your lace, and then we're going to create the X that we saw on the inside by going across to create the one bar of the X through the one layer, through the second layer, and then through the last layer. And then the same thing on this, we're creating the X, going in through the upper hole. Just remember the tape end is a little bit harder to work with than the hard tip on there. So just work it through the other diamond end and then out. All right, so then we're going to pull everything snug and even. We don't want any ripples in the leather. We just want it to be even and snug. And now you'll see on the inside, we have our X, and on the outside, we have our bar. And then I'm going to go ahead and tie this nice and snug and create the back knot with a square knot. So a square knot is you're going to go left piece, create an L, right piece is straight, and it goes under the L and comes out. There's one. Now you're going to create an L with the right piece, go under the L and come out, and that's two. And now you've made a nice square knot on the back of the piece. Again, trim these cords, and if you feel like using a lighter to melt the ends so they don't fray, you are more than welcome to do that. We have what looks like a moccasin, but now we need to put the cuff on. So we're going to use our last piece of lace. We're going to go down from the front to the back through the first hole, come out the second hole, and we want to leave like a 6-inch tail because we need enough to tie the bow when we're all done. Then we're going to take our collar and we're going to align it with the edge, holes on the edge, and we're going to fold this over, and we're going to do a running stitch all the way around. Now, if you have opted to do the smaller size, so you have 4 holes, you would have to cut off one set of holes from your collar. But I opted for the larger one, so we're not going to have to trim those. So now we're going to go from the inside. Oops, hold on. We're going to take the collar, fold it over. We're going to go through the first hole on the inside of the collar, go through the inside of the moccasin hole, pull this snug, and then from the wrong side to the right side, you're going to pull through. So you've gone through all 3 layers by folding this over, and you're bringing it from there over and in here. Now, all you have to do is go through the 3 layers in the next hole. And this is what we'll call a running stitch, so that it runs like that. Now we're going to go from the back side through the front. And the key is to make this snug without losing your tail here. And we're going to go all the way around, and then we'll come back out through the front. So as you come around to the last hole, you do the lace it through. And then you come on the tongue. On the toe plug, you go down through the first hole and up through the second hole. And now you have your 2 tails to tie the bow. And if you need to, you can even those up. You go ahead and just tie the 2 pieces together. There we go. Now that you got your bow, there's our right shoe. And there is our left one. And there we go. We have our 2 moccasins done. There's the right and the left. We are ready to go and relax in our comfy shoes. Remember, these are from Realeather Crafts. This is a kit that is all pre-stamped and ready to go. Comes with everything you need. You see how quick and easy these are. They'd be great for gifts, especially with Father's Day coming. They can be for women or men, and they come in sizes 4-5 all the way up to 12-13. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial on how to make the leather moccasin kit from Realeather Crafts, and we'll see you next time.